Welcome to the SEAC Reminding Podcast, a series of short episodes with a variety of speakers, covering topics on organization transformation, entrepreneurship, people, and leadership. Welcome back to our second episode with Jim. Jim, what are the three attributes of future leaders?
In this episode, we'll focus on the first three future leadership capabilities that SEAC's research recommended for Thai leaders. So let's start with resilience. No single future capability has become as important as building resilience through uncertainty and ambiguity. Leaders with this new core capability take nothing for granted. They assume that something will happen, and when it does, they are strong and focused on moving the organization and people to a better place ahead, even if it looks terrible now. This is a crucial capability for anybody with responsibility for just about anything. So any business, community, or government not prepared for disruptions to its supply chain, productivity, or markets, and ready to rebuild from negative circumstances, will struggle to survive in this era where change is a daily occurrence. The idea that something is without risk is nonsense. The claim that we know all we need to know about our business is dangerous, and the dependence on someone else's best practice to solve our complex problems is a recipe for failure. So some of the day-to-day attributes for resilient leaders include being a great listener, really listening, lots of less talking, interacting with a wide range of people with different knowledge and experience of the world. They have an intellectual humility. They don't know everything, and they know they don't, and they explore outside the usual boundaries. They have regular conversations about what might or could happen, and they're always creating options rather than committing to one solution, so they have flexibility. And finally, they have an appetite for risk-taking, and they combine that with an underlying sense of urgency. We need to keep moving forward. We need to keep anticipating. Our research shows this future capability most lacking in a large number of Thai leaders, and they're still proceeding with the idea that tomorrow will be the same as today. However, we think that with the COVID-19 situation, this has been exposed, and a lot of the leaders are now going to be able to focus on this and be part of the new normal in the future. Also, the resilience of strategies and programs shouldn't be accidental. Resilience requires the intentional involvement of you and your leadership team to explore possible future circumstances through scenario planning and imagination. So taking a look at potential strategic risks from unexpected sources and directions is a core competency that's going to help you with your strategy and programs and build them with the ability to bounce back from adversity. And that is true resilience. The second attribute we'll talk about today is leading with agility to improvise and innovate. Now, once you have that resilience built in to handle the surprises and unexpected events that will come up, you need to have the flexibility to quickly improvise and innovate. Now, we know what innovate means, but how about the word improvise? This word comes from the Latin word improvisas, meaning unforeseen. The modern definition is to produce or make something from whatever is available. And in our research, the capability to improvise is almost a universal trait of Thai people. Recent natural disasters such as the tsunami and the flood reveal a deep capability of Thais to make do in the most adverse situations. However, these same stories reveal that this capability was only used after the disaster happened, it was well established, and was short-term in duration, rarely being the basis of longer-term and innovative change. So in stable and predictable circumstances, the Thai tradition of respect for hierarchy brings a high level of order and control to any situation. However, if the situation is uncertain, ambiguous, as the world has become, this inflexible leadership model threatens the capability of an enterprise to survive and prosper. And so the capability to build an innovative organizational culture is severely restricted by this inflexibility or this hierarchy. So the innovation requires the free flow of ideas, some of which need to be outside the usual mindset of the organization and its view of the future. So leading in the future means you'll have several different organizational models simultaneously. The more traditional command and control model, like the operational model we talked about earlier, right next to this more agile open model that can quickly surface and use the rich diversity of experience and knowledge in the organization and beyond the organization. So how do these future leaders demonstrate the flexibility to improvise and innovate? Number one, they consider ideas more important than materials or resources. Number two is they're open to the new and different. So the not invented here focus has to shift into I'm always looking for something new and different to try. Great leaders in this area judge ideas on their quality to improve the situation, but not who thought about them. The hierarchy does not matter. And this kind of leader also has optimism in the face of adversity. They really do see opportunity in crisis. And they also encourage others to experiment. Okay? So for Thai leaders in the future, flexibility means to not only be able to adapt, but also involves a very deliberate process of letting go of power and moving into a space where ideas are coming from everywhere, are encouraged to circulate and pollinate with other ideas and generate future options rather than just to solutions to issues that have just come up. Let's move on to the third capability, and that is leading through collaboration and conversations across diverse audiences. And we talked about that strong respect for hierarchy that Thais have, and this respect has served the country well, and it's entrenched in the belief system of the people. However, in its current form, it's causing a split between the generations and levels in society. And future Thai leaders must develop a way to moderate this so that ideas, not people, are the critical engine for future prosperity and well-being. One could say that traditional hierarchical leadership is kind of an elephant in the room that nobody wants to acknowledge and address, and it is really holding the country's ability to be agile and innovative going forward. So future leaders will need to lead around and through this cultural aspect by opening up new channels of interaction and engagement across the actual or even imagined generational and level divides. And this task is an urgent one for today's leaders. To be clear, the disruption we're experiencing doesn't decrease the value of a leader's long-term experiences and knowledge. However, it does increase exponentially the importance of connecting, collaborating, and partnering because of this volatility and the speed of change. The leadership challenge is to build deeper and more diverse partnerships across generations, levels, and even beyond the leader's industry. Future leaders must engage in frequent conversations from different perspectives that can generate options and a broader viewpoint that they have to increase possibilities, innovate, and even move through change faster. One of the most striking differences between generations is in the use of communication media. Young people use the speed of Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, as well as Facebook and Twitter, so that information is literally simultaneously available to thousands of people, whereas older generations use more personally directed sources. Younger generations don't hesitate to use Google or a browser app to check out strategic information. It helps them move quickly, cross-reference even claims made by the leader themselves. So future leaders must keep up with and be savvy in using social media tools to connect, stay relevant and up to date on the needs and possibilities of all their stakeholders. So here are some capabilities that future leaders will demonstrate that enables collaboration and conversations across these diverse audiences. First, as we said before, you have to know that you don't know everything about the changing world, and you have to go to diverse sources for what you need, regardless of level or age. To conclude, here are some capabilities that future leaders will demonstrate that enable that collaboration and conversations across diverse audiences. First, the leader knows what they don't know. They don't have all the knowledge about the changing world, and they find diverse sources for what they're missing, regardless of where that's coming from, age, level, industry. Next, they actively surface a diversity of perspectives that are different from theirs. They really want to have people who have different views, not confirm what they know, but confirm something different. Next, they recognize that the past is not usually a good foundation for understanding the future. I think we all get that one. Also, they find ways around and through Thailand's cultural hierarchy that ensures that diverse voices can be heard. I'm not the boss. You're not the subordinate. It's not that command and control. They really let go of that so that they can create an environment where multiple voices feel comfortable to speak up and be heard. Next is they use and understand social media to connect with and learn from the younger generations and those outside their normal circle of influence. Next, they do create opportunities for younger people to practice leadership skills in meaningful situations. They let go of the need to be in control and they empower younger people. And finally, they treat everyone with the same dignity and respect, regardless of the age, level, or background. So, thank you for listening. We'll see you in episode 3, where we'll cover the final 3 leading in the future capabilities, which are leading into the future through continuous learning, leading simultaneously in both the short and long-term frameworks, and finally, leading to restore and sustain confidence and trust in our leadership. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Jim, for the 3 attributes. To summarize the 3 attributes, which are 1. Resilience, 2. Agility to improvise, and 3. Leading to collaboration. In our next episode, Jim will continue with the other 3 attributes.